Hello everybody, my name is gregarganda, and I'm going to be talking about James Wan's Final Destination, the 2000 first movie in the series of slasher movies without a slasher, as Civilian Snowman says. Um, what the storyline behind this original movie is that this group of students are trying to go on a trip to France with their French teacher, and upon boarding, one of the students falls asleep and has a premonition that everybody on the plane is going to die. And when waking up, he tries to warn everybody and get them off the plane. About 9 students and 1 teacher get off the plane, and everybody thinks he's crazy. But when they look outside the actual airport, the plane explodes mid-flight, and from this point forward, he's kind of having these premonitions again and again that these just weird feelings that people are going to be killed who were on the plane that got off with him that were meant to die. And it starts up this kind of idea that death has a design and it's supposed to be following people and killing them. If people somehow escape death, like death is just continuously following because he's kind of this shitty, like you can't fuck with death, and death is just a son of a bitch. Now, James Wan is a director he's directed some action movies like Jet Li's The One and Iron Monkey, which was actually pretty good. He also did a really terrible movie called Dragon Ball Evolution, which I kind of hate him for that. I don't really hate him, but that movie just, it gave me gonorrhea. Now, the pros of this movie are that Tony Todd plays the mortician in this movie who keeps on collecting the dead. And after the kid who has the premonition decides that he wants to go see his dead friend, when he gets there, he starts having this conversation with the mortician. And the mortician is basically telling him that death doesn't make mistakes and that death has design. And that when people try to change death's design, death comes and tries to collect their souls, essentially, and, tries to kill them. And, it gets into this weird notion that Tony Todd's character, the mortician, might actually be death himself, like Civilian Snowman had pointed out, because he's this really, really strange character who kind of really knows way too much about death, and he's not telling a lie. He's just kind of definitely giving a huge warning. And it's funny because at the end of the conversation, it's like, death is a bitch, and you don't want to fuck with that bitch. And Tony Todd is the main character in this movie called Candyman, and it's just awesome seeing him in this movie because whenever I see Tony Todd, I always think of Candyman, who's this kind of Grim Reaper, fairy tale murderer character. And it's just awesome seeing him in this role. However short it is, it's really satisfying because he has this presence about him that's just terrifying. Another thing that I really like about this movie is the set designs itself. Mise en scene, or mise en scene, whatever the fuck you call it, is what is fit inside of the camera, what is fit inside of the screen. Every single person that gets followed by death, essentially, is everything around them just becomes human booby trap. The houses around them, everything. A cup of coffee is actually a death sentence. And everything around them, and you start wondering and start looking, oh my god, what could kill him next? What could kill him? Is it gonna be that pencil? Is it gonna be that deodorant stick right there? Is it gonna be up his ass and then just break in half? It's just awesome to sit there and watch and think to yourself, uh-oh. Is this a false scare, or is he actually going to die? That's the next part of this that I like. It's the suspense of the movie. It's just it keeps you guessing the entire time because certain things start messing up and around people, and you can't tell whether they're going to live or they're going to die. And it builds that kind of suspense. The problem that I have with this movie is that the suspense, is kind of paid off with the crazy elaborate ways people die. But at the same time, on the flip side of that is that the ending doesn't satisfy. It doesn't satisfy me. It's really predictable, and it kind of all it makes you kind of wish you were watching the second one. It doesn't really fuse perfectly into the next one. It's just the main design. This movie series has its own kind of design, and it tries to play off of the idea that you don't piss off death by proving death wrong. You can't prove death wrong. It's kind of he's kind of a dick like that. No, he's a bitch, and you don't want to fuck with that bitch. Yeah, this movie is a complete guilty pleasure for me. I absolutely love it. 2 huge thumbs up. You know, the movie itself is just this weird, quaint little slasher movie where, like, death is basically the shadow that's just following people that escaped the possibility of death, and I really like it. I love these movies. Aside from number 4, number 4 made me pretty depressed. Maybe it's because I hate NASCAR. I don't know. Anyways, 2 huge thumbs up. Check it out. Thank you for watching, guys. I love you. Bye.